obtain energy with the help of oxygen. So oxygen in this case is the fuel to burn the sugar. You got a firewood, the fire is there. What you need to throw into the fire? Throw in the wood lah sebab dia fireplace. Right. So at the end of the day, what do you get? You get the energy. The fire keep on going on. So this fire is the energy. The wood is the sugar. The whole place is called fire burning place, and that is respiration. It's basically burning. Okay. So the full name for that is called cellular respiration, and it does require oxygen. So imagine simply this way: photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide, and then it releases oxygen. Cellular respiration, that is the opposite. It uses oxygen but gives out carbon dioxide. Happens in chloroplast, happens in mitochondria. As easy as that. Okay. CO2, the ingredient for photosynthesis. Do we need carbon dioxide? Human, do you need CO2? Perlu ke tak? Tak. Kalau tak perlu oksigen, why do you drink Coke? That's carbonated water, right? You know, people enjoy drinking fizzy drinks and carbonated water. That's basically bubbled up CO2 in drinks. Why? Do humans need carbon dioxide or not? No. So let's live in 100% oxygen. This is the good thing about learning physiology. You are forced to learn both humans and plants at the same time. Actually, we do need a bit of carbon dioxide. When you know, because this medical phenomena is actually documented. When you are not feeling well, sometimes you're just feeling discomfort. Some people feel actually okay after drinking sparkling water, carbonated water. Banyak orang cakap macam tu. So doctors, medical team, they have been researching this for quite a while actually. Apparently, when you drink this CO2 into your system, it kind of causing the specific effects. It's ada nama dia lah. Nama dia Bohr's effect. Bohr's effect meaning that when you have lots of CO2 in your blood, it kind of causing the red blood cells to release more oxygen to the muscle. When it's lower, I don't want to talk too much into it. Just because it kind of like a displacement theory, right? Maybe some of you want to do high CO2 experiments with your crop. Fair warning, if you give it too long, it's not going to work. And this has been proven for so many plants. But if you give plants with the right high CO2 at the right time or at a limited time, that's going to be beneficial for your plants. Kind of like you are drinking Coke. Are you going to be happy if you drink every day, 6 cans a day? Every day. From this year Raya to next year Raya. You will be only happy at certain times of the year only, right? Drinking that. Kind of like that. So if kalau ada siapa buat CO2 experiment, don't give all the time. That's not going to work. Okay? Not only with oil palm, with all plants. Right, okay, go on. Yeah. Okay. Second component, light. 3 things. Spectrum, intensity, photoperiod. Go on. Let's see, what are they? I'm trying to shorten this because I was talking to Amir earlier. Kalau nak faham benda ni betul, you need to learn quantum physics. How to reduce it, to make it simple. Let's put it this way. Light is actually an entity. When you are talking about an entity, it has properties. The thing about light's properties is it's kind of enigmatic. Enigmatic means unusual. Why? Usually when something is like you're talking about something is blue, no matter what is the situation, you're going to look, this thing is blue. You bring it over the sea, you see it blue. You go to London, it looks blue. Everywhere you go, it still looks blue. However, with light, it has what we call as dual properties, meaning that at the same time, it has the capacity to become a particle, and at the same time as well, it is a wave. So these two dual nature of light is important in agriculture, because if you know how to play around with it, you're going to get the most of your plant's production and biomass accumulation. Okay? So when you talk about the word light quantity or intensity, this specifically deals with the particle properties of light. Zarah cahaya. Okay? Jadi keamatan cahaya or light intensity is actually referring to the particle properties of light. For the quality, which is the light spectrum, what color do you see? That is the wavelength properties of light. Right. So, and the third is the how long the light you give. So you can only imagine, you need to get these two correct in order to have the best of crop production. If you get the quantity correct, but the color is wrong, nothing much going to happen. You give the brightest light, just give one light. You give green light to your crop. Super bright. What do you think? Is the plant going to be happy? But it is so bright. It is bright, but it is wrong. Not the color that it wants. Okay? Right. Go on. Yeah. Oh. Actually, this I want to use this slide for my other class. Tapi tak apalah, tengok je lah. You know, sometimes kalau tak rajin kan nak buat slide baru. You wonder, kenapa ada mata-mata ni? Right. When you look sunlight, tengok ada banyak sun kat luar tu. That sun has traveled like 200 million kilometers from the sun to reach Earth in about 8 minutes, right? We call sunlight coming out to illuminate the entire universe. That is the full spectrum. By full spectrum, it means colors that you can see, colors that you cannot see, right? And this is the full spectrum of sunlight. Actually, more than this. The bit that we can see is called the visible light, the rainbow light. It's very small. There are so many other lights that we cannot see. Gamma rays, cosmic ray, ultraviolet, microwave, radio, broadcast, and so on. In fact, your 5G, your 4G, that's light. You go to your neighbor, you think, oh, the warmth that you feel, that is light. You are boiling a kettle of water. If you go far, or maybe sometime at afternoon, you suddenly see that the view kind of shaking. Do you see that phenomenon? When you are boiling or cooking something right next to the hot pot, that kind of the picture kind of moving. That effect is actually, there is a light coming in the form of infrared. However, your eyes here cannot see beyond here. It knows something has been detected. The retina, the back of your eye, these cells here, the rods and the cone cells, they know something has been detected, but they cannot interpret it into some kind of color. So that's why you see when it gets too hot, the image kind of gets shaky. Not the computer image, the real image here. Right. So that's the body is telling you. That is actually far red, infrared. Right. Look at the experiment here. 3 kind of lights. The blue light, full spectrum like this, and also the red light. What happens here when you give completely blue? Apa ni? Flower lah. Blue light. If you know the science of light, there's so much you can trigger your plants to do, and people kind of surprised. Oh, why we don't manage to do that? Some plants are very difficult to flower. You just need to play around with the light. Yeah. Blue light is known to do 2 things. Actually 3 things. Number 1, to shorten the plant. Dwarfism. Mengkontutkan pokok. Number 2, to trigger flowering. Like this. Number 3, to open stomata. The blue light. You don't like blue light. You are having your blue light filter on your phone, your computer, and everything, right? Blue light actually is still needed, but not after 6 p.m. You need blue light to stay awake and productive. Okay. If you give full spectrum, you're going to get the growth, but the flower not as much. But if you give completely red, the flower kind of not happening. You just get the vegetative growth. So in the case of this experiment, this is to show that for vegetative growth, it is advised to use high light for indoor production. I'm not talking about your oil palm. Your oil palm, well, if you want to do oil palm factory inside, maybe you can use this technique. Some people, organs of interest are flowers, right? If you are dealing with floriculture, the floral industry, you don't want the leaf, you just want the flower, right? So this information of light, when you know how to play around with it, it's going to be very beneficial. For example, you have the oil palm nursery. Do you need the plant to flower? 1 year, 2 years old at the nursery. Do you need the plants to flower? You just want the plants to have a super fast establishment so that it can be planted faster. You want the root to be stronger. What color do you think should be given to the plant? Blue? Red? Or full? Red. Red. Even red. If you go to red, there are so many spectrum of red here. This is red as well. From here until here. Which red? So you see? There's a good study to be done there. Which shades of red to be given to all palm seedlings to improve seedling establishment. See, we just got our study. Just by playing around with the red. There's so many red. Red starts from 650 nanometers all the way until 680 nanometers. You go to Alibaba, you buy the LED of different nanometers, 650, 660, 670. Tengok aku baru dia orang idea. Betul nanti dia orang buat. So it's a very interesting thing to explore, okay? Or maybe you don't want that, you just want to, we just did a study. Apparently, oil palm seedlings, when the shoots coming out, that's the highest vitamin E. We want the most shoot now. Inilah information yang ada ni to get more shoot. Right. For example, okay, go on. Yeah. And the second properties of light is the intensity or the light quantity. Okay. Yang ini kan, nak belajar kuantum fizik betul ni, nombor 1 kan, buang jauh-jauh pemikiran jumut. You need to open wide now. Call all ancestors if needed to open your mind and horizon. Don't be jumut. Ni, light ni is showering upon you, right? Do you feel anything? Bright is not feeling bright, you look bright. Ada rasa berat? Apa berat? The truth is, whatever is showering onto you, imagine this is you, and this is the light ni, you are actually here. You are being showered with beads of light, manik-manik cahaya. And since this is white, there are many colors of beads. Each bead corresponds to specific color. So maybe this light here, the reason it looks white, maybe whatever is coming sedang dicurahkan upon your head, maybe 1 million beads of red, 2 million beads of yellow, 3 million beads of green, and so on. Tapi kenapa rasa tak berat? Because light doesn't have mass. Okay? So that's why you don't feel the heaviness of it. So the machine, like this machine here, it has a special sensor in it that can measure each of these beads. Light particle. Sebab tu harga dia boleh beli 3 Innova. How sensitive it is. Can you see light particles? Okay, I just want to give you the perspective, like the sensitivity of this machine. You measure this. Oops, sorry. Look at the unit here. What's this? Micron. That? Mole. What's mole? What's mole? Apa dia? Apa mole? Cakap. Apa mole? Tak apa pegawai tak tahu apa research institute tak tahu mole. Tak tahu nak bagi tahu. Apa mole? Mole tu apa? Speed? Apa? What's that? Siapa yang honestly would like to be reminded mole ni apa? I know we learn in school. No, I can tell very easy way. So far, I've just told this by a few times since 3 weeks ago. Semua orang appreciate the way I tell mole ni sebab dia memang ingat sampai mati. So, beritahu. Tapi nak kena contoh-contoh. Ibu lah macam ni. Bunting sini kan? Mana orang sana tak nampak? Nampak? Ni Okay. Let's put it this way. Some words, when you say certain words, in your brain, you don't picture the words, but you picture number. Okay. Let's do a small exercise. I say a word, you tell what number come to mind. Okay? Contoh I say single. What's the number? 1. I say twin. Oh. Kalau couple? Kalau triplet? Kalau quadruple? Okay. If I say dozen? If I say century? Puluh? If I say millennium, if I say more, macam mana? 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23. Maksudnya, benda ni, if you want to turn it into number, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Macam mana sebut? That's why you say 6-4. Easy kan? 6-4. So mole ni sebenarnya adalah how do you say it? Penjuru bilangan? Penjuru bilangan ke? Like a shorthand for this long numbering system. You can have another way to say this. 6 billion berapa kosong? 9 kan? 9. Ada billion berapa? 23 tolak 18 berapa? 5 lambat. Billion, 100. Bukan, 1000. Ni 3 kan? 100. 9, 18, 3, 21, 2. 6 billion, 1000, 100. So when you see this machine can measure that many of light particles, you now understand why light is a enigmatic entity. Okay, right? So boleh ingat sama mati? Senang ya kan? No, at least banyak orang tak boleh nak ingat motor. Bukan susah sangat pun motor. Right? Okay, we can go on. So, okay, please understand the difference between these two, PPF and PPFD. Photosynthetic photon flux and also the photosynthetic photon flux density. When it says photosynthetic, there is a limit of the wavelength, meaning that we are talking about between the wavelength of 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers only. The moment nampak perkataan photosynthetic. Okay? Yeah. So why this is important? To run this. Nanti kita tengok in photosynthesis overview. The photo reactions in the photosynthesis. Okay? Right, okay. Boleh, go on. Yeah. Oh, kita tak nampak. Okay, photoperiod. And finally is the photoperiod, the length of the light. I'm not sure about oil palm photoperiodism requirement. Is it a short day or long day? Basically, some plants, in order to flower, we are talking about flowering event now. In order for it to flower, some plants, it requires more than 12 hours. When these plants belong to this category, we call long day plant. Because as long as the light is only more than 12 hours, then will only it flower. However, some plants require less than that. So we call that short day plant, meaning that it requires more than 12 hours of darkness, then will only it flower. Some plants, they don't care, okay? Long or short, it will continue to flower, right? So short day, the good example is rice. Rice is short day. Rice is short day. Yeah. Long day. Negara kita selalunya banyak day neutral. Yeah. Day neutral. This technique is used by people in camera high, people kind of turn on light at night because they do not want the plants to flower at the wrong time. Bila order masuk, baru dia trigger the flowering. See, you can use it for horticulture purpose just by playing with the photo period light duration. Okay, all right, go on. Yeah. So pretty much like temperature, light intensity will also trigger the rate of photosynthesis or rate of development until to a certain step, and then it will start to flatten off because light too is energy. Temperature, you know just now, right? It's energy. Light also energy. Temperature, harbor heat. Heat is light. Heat is light. Okay. When you have your friends, demam-demam tu kan, oh, you are so bright today. Macam mana? Ambil lah thermal camera. Yeah, see? You look shiny. Right. Okay, go on. Okay, water. Alright, four things in water: oxygen content, pH, EC, and temperature. We can go this very quickly. Okay, go on. Oxygen content. Okay. For plantation, this is important. Okay. So all soil, just because you have watered the soil, doesn't mean that the plants are able to absorb the water, because the first thing that needs to be satisfied is, you can say this is the soil particle. The soil particles will absorb the moisture first. Until it has become saturated, then only the water will be able to the plants. Water that you give to the plantation, competition between two users, the soil and also the plants. Soil will win first. So that this is where it comes the concept of field capacity. Water the plant to the field capacity. For what? So that there is an excess of this water for the uptake by the roots. You might wonder why soil needs to use water. The soil, number one, it is sticky depending on the soil type. It's hydrophilic to the water molecule. Number two is the microbes. The microbes need water as well. Some microbes, it will produce this glue, natural glue, and this glue, lots of moisture in it. So to maintain this glue, this colony of microbes, water will go to this first. So your plants might not be able to get it for quite some time, right? Okay, and the concept of aerobic and anaerobic soil, right? So you are dealing with the peak condition, so this concept is kind of important, right? For a given area, there will always some area of aerobic and anaerobic soil. So depending on what you are trying to achieve, by varying the ratio of aerobic and anaerobic region of the soil, that will have a huge impact on the plant growth. I do not know, maybe during the seedling stage, maybe it requires more aerobic condition, right? However, as it gets older, maybe it requires more anaerobic situation. I don't know, right? Depends on the plant. I can only answer for rice because I do rice a lot, right? Yeah. Why this is important? Because aerobic and anaerobic condition will trigger different metabolism pathway inside the plant, and also the type of microbes that are going to be present in the soil. You are not going to find the microbe species in the soil the same all the time. Some microbes are anaerobic, some are anaerobic. And each of these microbes producing metabolites that are being uptaken by your plants as well, right? So some people, they just play around with this aerobic, anaerobic. I'll give an example in rice because I work with rice. There is a technique in rice called alternate wet drying. Most of the time, the rice is flooding condition, right? At certain times in the season, people remove the water to make it dry. The moment it is dry, some microbes will be activated, and these are actually beneficial for the plants, more oxygen and so on. And then the flooding can come in again to suppress the weeds. Okay, maybe this is going to be useful for the oil palm plantations in certain way. Okay, go on. Temperature. This is not maybe not so much problem to plantation, but I just mentioned it because if you deal with hydroponic or indoor system, this is important. Water has been shown if it's in cooler temperature region, that is actually beneficial for the plants. Okay, because water is actually used not only for photosynthesis but to cool the plant down. Okay, look at the plant. No plants using umbrella at the moment. They just take the sunlight as the way it is. Do you see the plants applying sunscreen? It cannot move. It cannot run away. It just have to be as hot as possible. It has to endure it somehow. So the cooling system needs to be like very efficient. Okay, so that's why some cultivation, the for example the dripping cultivation, they have started to drip with the cooler water, so that when the plants transpire, start the transpirational stream from the root all the way to the top, this will cool the plant even more efficiently. When the plant is cool, it can cater more biochemical reactions for the same amount of time. For example, without cooling, maybe for 1 second, it can cater 10 chemical reactions because every chemical reaction gives off endothermic heat, right? It's good to cool down before it can start new reaction. But if you use the cool water, maybe the plant now can do 30 chemical reactions per second. Yeah. So there is a benefits and virtue from using this. So I got some example here. This is from paper actually. Cool water, regular water. You can see that the cool water actually, the chlorophyll content is higher because the plant can do more for biochemical reactions. When the chlorophyll content is higher compared to the regular water, not only that the plant photosynthesis is better, you who consume the plant going to get more nutrient as well. This is greener. This greener means that's more chlorophyll, more magnesium. You need more magnesium. Why human need more? Why human need magnesium? What disease do you think usually need magnesium? I'm sure every single one has experienced this, especially if you have demanding boss. Migraine. Or maybe you have one now. We got a lot of magnesium banyak lah ni. Magnesium is used as muscle relaxant. Okay, so sebab tu athlete, you know, some athlete after long sprinting, they kind of spray something on the calf, magnesium. Spray tu untuk bagi muscle relax. So if you have headache, spray magnesium kat belakang kepala. Kurang lah, atau makan. Spray kat otak. Jangan, itu relax sangat. Or some postpartum ladies, confinement time kan, after the baby, kan senang nak cramp. So spraying magnesium, transmembrane magnesium dipanggil, relax kaki-kaki tu, kan? The baby is giving the stress already, kan? Kan laki dia nak bising lagi. So dia senang stress, postpartum stress. Right, okay, go on. Yeah, pH. pH. pH, P stands for potential. H is hydrogen. Hydrogen potential. The more hydrogen ions, H plus, present in the soil, the more acidic it becomes. The more lower the pH reading is going to be. For the opposite of it, is hydroxide, OH. The more hydroxide is present, we call it more alkaline, more basic. Why this is important? You can give all the elements and nutrients in the soil to the plant at the plantation. If the plants are not going to be able to uptake, this is going to be useless. Okay. One important major thing that determine nutrient availability of the soil to the plant is actually pH. Okay. So you can see that when it becomes too acidic, macronutrients are going to be unavailable to the plant. I don't say not present. The nutrients are present, but the plants are unable to uptake and use because it's too acidic. Okay? Why? The soil particle bind it too tightly. So it's not in the free form to be released for the root hairs to uptake. Okay? So macronutrients such as NPK, magnesium, calcium, sulfur. Yeah. But when it gets to alkaline, trace elements now becoming more and more unavailable. Trace minerals such as zinc, boron, manganese, molybdenum, nickel, right? So that's why somewhere in the middle is the best, okay? So we usually have the advice between 5.5 to 6.5. That's the very happy place for the plants, both soil cultivation and also the hydroponic cultivation. Yeah. Yeah. What about neutral? If you give neutral, no, the plants are going to survive, but it might have less microbes attached to it. Okay. So some microbes is also, for some reason, happy with the slightly acidic. Yeah. Look at your tummy, your gut. Is it alkaline or acidic or neutral? Your gut? Do you have gut? Apa tu? Dia macam nodding, shaking, all at the same time. What's your gut, intestine, and so on? Acidic or alkaline? Or neutral? Okay. I have a small question because people here are scientists, right? Some company like to sell alkaline water. Ya, kenapa? I saw itu dekat supermarket dijual alkaline water. Do you think that is useful for your body? The argument is the reason they come up why you need to take alkaline water is because our blood is 7.3 pH. So that's why it says since our blood is slightly alkaline, that's why drink alkaline stuff so that your blood is in the right pH. Do you agree with that? Scientist kan? Fikir, come on. Do you think it is truth or scam? Scam. Scam lah bagus. Scammer sangat kaya. Why are we doing it? Kan? Do you think it's going to be beneficial for your body if you drink alkaline water? No. Why? Why not important? If I can see some of this marketing for miracle water, maybe they are missing one important piece of information. pH is not homogeneous throughout the body, including plants as well. It's true, the pH of the blood is 7.3, 7.2, but your blood is not present throughout the body. Some part of the body is actually free from the blood. Is there any blood in your stomach? Where do the bloods present? Vessel. bloods are always in vessels, not in between, not in empty spaces, not in the tummy, not in the intestine, right? No, not in the hair. Try to cut your hair. Tengok, pancut keluar. There's no blood in there. Ni, tiba ada blood dalam kuku kan. Pergi kat pedicurist tu, serap, cang. Bloody nail. Your tummy is acidic for two reasons. Why? Very acidic tau. If you put a nail in your stomach, it's going to dissolve the nail. So number one is to kill off any bacteria, because you like to eat all sort of things in the world, right? Kill off the bacteria, harmful microbes, and also number two, to assist digestion, to activate enzyme, trypsin, pepsinogen, benda-benda macam tu, enzyme tu. These will help to break down protein so that your body can absorb the nutrition, right? So, kind of like the plants, if you put it in the 7, something is not going to be present in the root environment, which usually the microbes we are talking about. If your intestine is too alkaline, like if you think that what the water will do, some microbes are going to be eliminated, because the many species microbes in the gut are actually acidic type, producing lactic acid. Hence the word lactobacter, lactobacteria too. Because why? It's producing acetic acid, lactic acid, and so on. Okay. So I mention all of this so that you can think. You're a scientist. Yeah, understanding your body in the right way can tremendously help to grow your plant better. Right? Okay, go on. Oh, EC. Okay. EC stands for electrical conductivity. This is more important because you're not dealing with hydroponic. If you are dealing with salinity study, salt stress. Yeah? Okay. So the meter looks like this. So it basically tells the ionic activity of a medium. So it can be water, it can be soil. Right. The unit is usually microohms per centimeter cube, like this, or microsiemens. The higher the reading, the more ionics substance are present in that media. It doesn't tell you which ions are more or which ions are less. It just tells you the overall activity, ionic activity. So this is a good measure for plantation to have this kind of equipment to see the salt level, because some variety are known to be not salt tolerant. Let's put it this way. Variety that are salt tolerant, the membranes of the cells are equipped with active salt transporter. So meaning that if the plants live in a salty condition, the plants know how to deal with the extra salt. They put it aside. But if the plant, the variety, cannot deal with extra salinity stress, the salt will be a problem because prevent the water movement. Because, when you have lots of osmosis, regular osmosis law, two side, middle is the membrane, one side high in salt, one side is low in salt. Water movement from where? High salt to low salt or low salt to high salt? Yeah. So the low salt water will go to the high salt side of it. So this will cause problem for the plant's homeostasis. Okay. So very much. This is a regular way to show it. Plants need salt, but at a certain level, if you increase the EC reading, it's not going to go any good. It's going to get smaller and smaller. Even though I kind of look at it, is this Photoshop? I got it from a publication. If I was the reviewer, look at it. It looks kind of similar. Rasa macam dia cuma downsizekan benda tu saja. Don't trust all journals that you read. Like really, some of it have been, the images have been highly doctored. Yeah. Like you like to manipulate your relative. Now the scientist manipulate you, making you to believe something. Alright, okay, go on. Yeah, nutrients. Okay, composition, micronutrients. Okay, go on. Let's see. So composition, I think all of you know. Nutrients requirement, essential nutrient or essential elements mean elements that are needed by the plant to complete a healthy life cycle from seed to seed. You can remove one or two, but the plant will not be able to complete the life cycle producing offspring, right? How many are needed? Depending on your crop species and depending what school do you go to. Some people say 16 elements are essential, some say 17, some say 18. And since I like to stay in the middle, on the fence, I'll say 17. The difference is here at silicon. Some people replace it with nickel. Some people replace it with vanadium. Okay, so it depends on the species. So the rest are still the same. It's just different here. Okay, depending. So here we got 18. Yeah, 18. Right. Do you do fertilizer study? Okay. Oh, tunjuk video tu. Yeah. Okay, let's look at what else you need to worry about. Yeah, life is about worrying, right? Let's worry. Go on. Okay, purity. I know it's easy to buy a fertilizer, but just pay attention to the composition of the fertilizer. All right. When you are doing study, doesn't matter for your PhD or for your research work, you need to know the actual percentage of the elemental nutrient that you are giving. Okay, because if you know the elemental requirement for the crop, doesn't matter what brand you are using or what kind of chemical composition you are using, you know how to recalculate the fertilizer requirement. So it's very, very important because sometimes you don't need to apply the NPK all the time because the NPK reserve is still kind of a lot reserved in the soil. So that can save significantly in terms of agricultural input. Okay. No nutrient come in the form of single element. Tak ada. Even hydroponic, it always comes in the form of compounds. Like you want the magnesium, but it comes in the form of magnesium nitrate, which is good. You got the nitrogen and also oxygen in addition to the magnesium. Right? Okay. And also sometimes the commercial product has started to infuse with bioenhancers like NPK plus, NPK Pro. No, that's my phone. NPK, all the scammy words that you can think of. Start to infuse with some purportedly beneficial nutrient. Like I put in here, people put humic acid, fulvic acid, trace element, micronutrients. You know the marketing people, they like to throw everything in there. No, apa lagi orang letak? Seaweed extract, holy water, put in yourself. They just want the product to be sold, so they put all the words in the heaven, right? Right. So whenever these things are present, I'm not saying that it's not good, but pay attention to the purity. Sometimes these things can be beneficial at certain condition because this will interact with your existing plantation medium, soil, peat, and so on. When you have something too much, it will change the previous things that you learned before. It will change the pH. It will cause some microbes are not happy, and so on. right? So just be careful. Just know your purity. What you're looking for. Go on. Yeah, yeah. So it's not purity actually. It should be the microbes. So the nutrients actually not only for the plants. So please correct your understanding in your head today, because people think when you give NPK fertilizer, that's only for the plant. Who says? That actually for the microbes as well. Hey, all the basic thing. Your plants are interacting with nature. Okay, you eat food, right? Nasi goreng. What did we eat yesterday? Mie kolok. Why yours warna orange? His mie kolok color merah orange. Mine is like the boring yellow. Why? Tak perhati kan? Membawa cerita sampai hari ni. Is that normal? Mie kolok color merah orange? Ah, I didn't know that. Because kat sana kan tandoori je warna macam tu. Now you turn it into mie kolok got the tandoori color. Okay, when you eat a plate of rice, is that all for you? When you eat a plate of rice or sayur campur or whatever you eating, is that really all for you? No, I'm not talking about your family got sucker and then you inherit that. No. That leaves to the aunties to deal with. No, you are sucker free. Let's assume that. When you have a meal, whatever that you ingest with food, it's true to those things, the food, whatever the cuisine is, that is to energize you because you need to live off the energy from the food, right? But what about the things that cannot be digested by your body? The fiber. The fiber cannot be digested because our gut do not have cellulose enzyme. These fibers are actually food for the microbes in your gut. Okay? Microbes in your gut are very important because these, let's put it this way, if you are talking about DNA composition, if you say that you are you because of your DNA identity, then you are not you actually. Because if you collect all your DNA, you put it in one bowl, then you collect all microbes in DNA, you put it aside, you will see that your DNA is one bowl, microbes DNA 12 bowls. 12 times your DNA. So are you really you? The dominant genome throughout your body, look at your body, or your neighbor's body. The dominant genome is not what is written on the IC. The dominant genome is belonging to the microbes. So that's why it is important to keep these microbes in your gut happy. You know, if I am the spokesperson and ambassador for Vitagen and Yakult, they would be so happy right now. I can make so much sales. These microbes, they live there not only because they need a host, they are actually producing various compounds that are useful for your body. For example, vitamin K, that is produced by microbes. If you don't get it from the spinach vegetable, microbes producing that as well. Serotonin, melatonin, those hormones that make you happy and so on, that is controlled by the microbes. Yeah. So this has been proven over and over again by the medical community. Those that have unhappy microbes environment in the gut will be the one that is prone to stress and semua menggoyang semua tu. You're just not getting enough fiber. Right? Yeah. Your microbe diversity will determine your IQ. You should know that. How well you think, how good is your mental endurance. There is a special connection between your gut and your brain, like a highway. What was the name of the highway we were talking earlier? Bukan tempat sana, kat sini. Yang tak siap tu. California. Oh, tak siap lagi kan? Tak apa, dah siap nanti. Gunalah. There's a highway from your gut to your brain. It's called vagus nerve. So whatever is being produced by your microbes, these will be directly fed to the brain. And your brain as well sends signals to the microbes. Yeah. So kind of like the plants. The plants, when it photosynthesizes, creating all the sugar, they're going to send some to the microbes here. The microbes are going to use the sugar to create a colony so that the roots can absorb more nutrients and also to increase the immunity of the plants. Kind of like us, the symbiotism, pretty much like us. I always say that if any doctors ever decide to become an agronomist, they're going to make a good agriculturist because they already understand about the human body. Whatever they apply to the plants is going to work just fine. Right? Okay. So we give the nutrients so that the nitrogen, phosphorus are also to some degree used by the microbe so that the microbes can create an even healthier network of root system. Some of the roots actually connected to the next plant. You know, plants are actually shaking. I don't want to say shake hands. Shake kaki. They connect to the plants belah dia. So they are sharing food. They are sharing food. And also all these secondary metabolites to keep the entire population happy. So this is an opportunity for the study for the monoculture, like oil palm, semualah, kelapa, pisang, benda semua. Monoculture banyak tidak elok, banyak kelemahan, you know, the downside of monoculture. However, one thing that you can improve is the connection underground, the networking underground, so that you can improve the plant's endurance to the environment and also the nutrient use, nutrient utilization. Right? Okay, go on. Yeah. And the last point is growing medium. Actually, the full name of it is, I just added this, growing medium manner, GMM. Not GMO, GMM. Okay, what are those? Number one, consideration. What is your medium? Is it soil? If it's soil, it's actually mineral. If it is not soil, it can be any other substrate, like this. Rockwood, LICOR, and so on. So peat, is it soil or is it substrate? Soil or substrate? Peat. I just want to see who says peat is under the category of soil. One. Cepatlah, siapa? One, two. Tak ada. Saya, okay, seorang. Dua. One, two. Dua orang. Tiga. Masuk sekali. Tiga. Siapa kata under the category of substrate? One, two, three. Okay. Four. Siapa on the fence? Itu lagi ramai on the fence. So what do you think? Do you know how soil is formed? From the rock. The weathering of rock. What's weathering in English? Lulu hawa. All the way masuk dalam tanah. No, you're not going to find grandma dalam tanah. Go further. The chunk of rock from the earth crust will get broken down over the time by a process called weathering. Process lulu hawa. And weathering agents are many. Wind, water, apa lagi? Heat, earthquake, kau berat kan, dalam pecah batu. Now, you just become a weathering agent. Right. So this thing over the time, it will become smaller and smaller and smaller to the point it becomes the soil texture that we know here. Yeah. The clay that is the smallest size and the biggest something like the silt and also the sand. Peat is other than mineral rock. Okay. So peat again, is it really soil? Where did peat come from? Organic matter of whom? Plant. Plants such as trees. Yeah. So these are the decomposition of biomass. Isn't it correct? Any here from the biomass of plant? Where? Right, from the mass of the plant. So peat actually not a soil. Yeah, it's not produced through the weathering process, decomposition of the rocks. Yeah. Ataupun dia dicampur. I don't have experience with the peat in Malaysia. The peat that I work with is what do you call it? Moss. Peat bog. Moss. Yeah. Kenapa? Makan? Minum pagi? Siapa nak minum? Oh. Alright. Dah habis dah pun. Macam mana nak belajar? Patutnya I'm the one yang minta rehat. So I'm the one yang speaking, talking kan. Microbe dah tak happy. Pergilah makan. Microbe dah tak happy. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. So only up to here. Go on. I think that's all. Yeah, habis. Spacing. This is something that we can talk tomorrow because I need to show dekat plantation anyway. Right? Yeah. Just for two things actually. For the root, which I already mentioned, the root networking, and then the lighting here. Why spacing is important? It's something to do with the red lights composition in the plantation. Okay. You just learn, right? Red. There are many shades of red. Certain red will cause certain events to happen to your plant. Right? Okay? Right, go on. Yeah, habis dah. Okay. Questions? All good? Cuma rehat? Macam mana rehat? Macam mana kau yang cakap? Aku yang cakap kan? Ada nak rehat? I need this. My drugs. Dia benar-benar tak nak tau, dia nak ini je. Ya. Ada soalan? Ada nak bangkang? Peat soil. Ada nak bangkang? Peat substrate. Substrate ke soil? Soil. Shouldn't you know this? Because this is your ground of place. So tak boleh panggil dalam kampung? Panggil boleh panggil je lah. Name is just name, kan? Name is just name. This negeri ni, do you call aeroplane kapal terbang? What do you call it? Kau pergi kat UPN, kau panggil balloon. Name is just name. Kan? Depends on your location, your locality. Right? It can mean so many things. Okay, let's try. Tak nak panggil tanah gambut. Nak panggil, you can create your own word. Alright, okay. So we can take 10. Gitu, then we'll continue with photosynthesis and then we go to this machine.